Let's talk about the 3%.
That's what we're talking about.
Let's pry into it a little bit more. Is the removal of the 3% and given to the NDDC not enough disincentive, do you think, for the investors?
Sorry, repeat that.
Is the removal of the 3% and given to the NDDC not enough disincentive for the investors to withdraw?
Not in the least. Not in the least. Look, this is business. You go into business with an objective of making profit.
Pardon me, apologies. I need to. We need to go to break, but we'll come back and let you conclude your point in a moment. Do join us again. Welcome back. Go ahead and conclude on your points.
Yes. I believe that there are no disincentives can be, apart from what the NLNG. There's nobody that gives up power or money easily. So I don't expect that the NLNG is just going to roll over and die. They are going to put up a stiff defense. And their defense, part of their defense is we will create disincentives for investors. I strongly say no. I say no because if any investor at any point now says he does not want to participate in any project in the Niger Delta anymore, I bet you there are more than 50 or more investors ready to take it.
But the angle that they are saying,
say that is trains 7 and 8, which is responsible for condensing gas and make it liquefied for export. Those two will be greatly affected. That's what they say.
This is all, you see, it's like going to semantics when we're speaking English. People have vested interests, and we go about things without tending to follow due process. Look, for example, the refineries. There is this quiet agenda to turn the Port Harcourt refinery into a Jet A1 only producing organization, and they have now decided to sign an agreement between the NNPC and ENI, and through ENI, Oando, for them to hand over the Port Harcourt refinery to them without any competitive bid. You see, these are the issues of the Niger Delta.
If I could
we have corruption.
If I could pick up a little bit, pardon me to butt in, on the other point I was going to make is part of the reason that they've given that if, as a country, we have agreements and we don't stick to it, is it going to be sufficient for us to say, well, if they don't want to, they can pull off and other people will come in? Wouldn't they also look at, is Nigeria or will Nigeria be a good place to do business if we're known to back off on agreements?
Basically, it is everybody, integrity and character are often founded on a man's word. So the country's word has to play a strong role in fashioning the future. But the reality of the situation is this: if the NLNG does not pay that 3%, does not, if the review does not take place, if the communities of the Niger Delta, not of Bonny, even Opobo, which is right next door, is not benefiting from the NLNG.
Well, are the communities all on the same page on this? Because you have dissenting views.
We are all, Pandef, I'm speaking on behalf of Pandef. Pandef, led by Chief Edwin Clark, represents the people or the peoples of the Niger Delta.
But there are other people.
We are not
disagree.
No, which people? Who are they speaking for? If, for example, Ferry makes a statement on behalf of the West, and a group comes out and makes a contrary statement, you have to ask yourself, which is that group? Arewa makes a statement. You have to ask yourself, which is the group that makes a contrary statement? If that group, anybody can go, these days of the internet, anybody can put together an organization and make statements and that cannot be backed by facts or by the realities on the ground. That's why I brought up the issue of this refinery. We must stop treating the Niger-Delta as a fiefdom of some politicians.
Okay, let's wind down with this. Let's hypothesize. What if, according to with respect to the arguments that NLNG has put up, saying that this is not good for business, it may cause investors to lose faith. What if in the future they then say, well, since you're breaking the agreement, we pull out?
Who pulls out?
What happens?
The investors.
The investors.
Yeah.
That's 60% of the entity.
In that unlikely event, we will find that new investors. Do you realize that the United States used to be the major importer of Nigerian crude and does not import 1% of our crude anymore, and we are still dependent on crude? Other people have taken their place. It's like water. Water will find its level, and investors will come, investors will go. The Niger-Delta and the Niger-Delta's interests must and will remain supreme.
That's where we're anchor. Mr. Tony Uranta is the spokesperson of Pan Niger-Delta Forum, PANDEF. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you for having me again.
Let's hand over to Mark right now.